What is going on, Cowboy Nation? I'm sorry, man. I jumped off on that one because I was over here just dancing along as it was doing its thing. But like always, I'm Primetime Phil. Welcome back to Primetime Studios. And like always, my co-host, GameTime Bryan. GameTime in the new studio. Have you figured out a name for the studio yet?
I have not figured out a name, but we're going to go with
Stu Studio?
Primetime Studios, man. Stu Studios, exactly. Primetime Phil, Primetime Studios.
I like it.
We're coming at you hot. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing? I'm watching the obstacle course right now.
I was doing a little thing. I'm also on the side here supporting Stacy on the phone here as she does her live as well. But one thing that we are going to talk about is definitely what these Dallas Cowboys have been doing early in the chat. Of course, we have Twiz. Mark was plugging in our channel. I appreciate the love, Mark. You were on there yesterday. I was out in the tournament doing some stuff, so I kind of had to miss that, and I was jelly, man. I was jelly.
Listen, man, it was fun. You know, we didn't talk much Pro Bowl, Mark. You know,
I had
all my notes, man. I had everything. Phil, I'm getting ready for the draft, baby. It's
good.
Both sides.
I was pushing.
I got like 200 players here, but
if you're at home,
much Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
But we did talk Cowboys, and that's ultimately what we're here for.
Yes.
And it was good.
Well,
Shout
looks
out
like
to Angelica.
Yeah, we got
Mike
good chat.
Aldana.
Mike Aldana. Yeah, he has a great idea.
Diva.
Oh, I like the changing of the name.
Yeah,
She gets the rose there.
Fire,
Angelica,
man.
of course.
All over the place.
But Mike has the right idea, man. What we're going to talk about today is some of what happened this past week. Obviously, we're only coming in week increments, so we have to kind of, you guys are talking about Monday stuff. Well, you know, these Cowboys are always making news every day, so we're going to try to change it up. We'll see what we can do in the middle of the week as well, too. Talking Cowboys. Who doesn't want to talk Cowboys? Even the people that don't like the Cowboys still love to bash and talk about the Cowboys. So let's do this as well. So first subject, I mean, what part do you want to get? Because there has been some stuff that's been happening, speculations of different, obviously the people keep coming around with OBJ and all these other ones. But
listen, man, Twiz is always here for us, and I really appreciate you, brother. You're an Eagle fan. I just want to, listen, this is a Cowboy channel, but we're not like normal people where we just want to shit on the other team. Let's give a shout out to both the Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. They're the best teams in their conference.
Yeah, man.
They're representing. This is the last time I'm probably going to say it today, but Twiz, congratulations, man. Enjoy this time. I felt this. It's been a long time, but I felt this 5 times. So I'm seeing a lot on Twitter that's saying, "Oh well, we're gonna meet your 5 Super Bowls and surpass by the time that we win another." I would just say, don't get caught up in that BS. Enjoy the Super Bowl. I'm not gonna say I'm rooting for your team or not, but enjoy it, man. It's a good time. As far as us Cowboy fans, we got an offensive coordinator. I'm excited about. It's who me and Phil talked about, and we both said that this is what was going to happen. This whole offensive coordinator search was basically
smoke and mirrors,
right, Phil? I mean,
smoke and mirrors.
We knew what was going to happen.
The Rooney Rule was in play as well. I don't care what anybody says. I love the candidate that they brought in, but the fact is they knew who they wanted from the beginning. We were talking about Mike, possibly play calling, who's going to be that backup. Of course, the guy that he's been there before with, Brian Schottenheimer. I like the experience. This is the stuff that, like, there's a lot of people that are upset, but there's always part of Cowboy Nation. It doesn't matter what they do. They could lower the prices of the tickets, and there's going to be somebody complaining about that. So with this move, I think it really helps. I think my biggest hang-up with Kellen Moore, and I'm going to go back to this because obviously they're going to be compared to each other. That's just how it is going to go forward. But when you look at this, I think if you ever watch anything like Okoye does, Okoye Media, he breaks down Brian Schottenheimer's offense very well. The fact that he adjusts to what the defense is doing. Maybe he's going to run to the left, and he pulls that linebacker out of that position prior to the play. So he's not doing that, okay, just line up and let's play. He's putting his players in position to make plays, and you see that throughout the whole offense. And you're going downfield. You're not there's some stuff side to side, but it's always for a purpose. This is always to try to counter what the defense is doing. So I love this move. I just didn't want to, celebrate it too soon. What do you think about what he brings compared to what Kellen Moore brought?
Well, like I told Mark yesterday, the great thing about Schottenheimer is he has pedigree. We know who his father was. He was the O coordinator of the Seattle Seahawks.
Mm-hmm. When Russell was still pretty good.
Doing Phil is his sole job, the last year and a half was devising offensive game plans to beat Dan Quinn's defense. So basically, he was what a quarterback will be doing, like a practice squad QB will be doing, mimicking the opponent's offense. That's what he was doing, but he was devising game plans. So he worked with Dan Quinn arm in arm, more so than Mike McCarthy. So his sole job was to draw up game plans, to go against the Cowboys, and then help Dan Quinn devise a plan for his defense. The man is smart. I have no issues with Schottenheimer. I called it. I said that's who I wanted. Why they went outside, we're not stupid people. We know what they want to do. I'm happy with the hire. I think it's, McCarthy's going to call the plays. We know that, but he's going to help devise the offensive scheme. And, who knows? But I'm happy, man. I don't know what you think about it, Phil, but I like it.
I like the move. I mean, who else were you going to bring in here that didn't want to call themselves? I'm not saying that I want McCarthy to do it, but I think the combination of the two, I think that's the same thing when I think about the clock management, the clock management that, McCarthy has the problem with. It's just like McVay, for example. What's McVay's problem? He likes to run out in the field when the plays are happening. So he has a guy that just pulls him back off the sideline. How can you not just hire a coach? If you have your best friend there just as a liaison, how can you not hire somebody that can just at least manage the clock? So I think just like in that combination, I think the two of them, two heads are better than one. I think having somebody different than in Dak's ear, obviously it's gonna depend on who the quarterback coach is.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard any of the show, Phil, but I told everybody, I said, everybody wants to have an enemy in this world, and Kellen Moore is not the enemy. He did a good job. We're not gonna sit here and shit on Kellen Moore and say that he did this or he did that.
No.
Yeah, sometimes you just run your course, man. You run the course and you need to move on. In order for us to get better, we need to do something else. That's no slight on Kellen. I wish Kellen nothing but the best, but I think, reached our potential under his offense, man. When things broke down, whether it's talent base or it's scheme base, when things broke down, Dak reverted to the comeback routes, and every defense knew what we were going to do. When they put pressure on us, it was almost like, hey, listen, guys, they're going to do a quick out, a comeback, whatever. And you saw what happened. It didn't help Dak at all. So hopefully Schottenheimer can get back to old-fashioned running game, play action, take shots downfield.
Well, I mean, most of his route combinations.
Integrating the West Coast, too.
Yeah,
Phil.
exactly.
You gotta integrate
I'm
West
okay
Coast.
with that. I'm definitely okay. Let's spread this thing out. I mean, you have your biggest thing last year was, you didn't have those amazing receivers, but I'm sure, if you spread them out, you felt pretty good about Gallup's matchup. You felt pretty good about T.Y. Hilton. You felt pretty good about CeeDee Lamb. You felt pretty good about Schultz. You felt pretty good about Pollard. It's all one-on-one coverage, but the fact is when you can pull two guys to one guy and the other guys aren't getting open, I mean, it's a scheme thing. You're making, and it's right on the money. I think when they talk about how Kellen Moore's offense, you had a lot of guys sitting. I mean, you're sitting in a zone, but you were sitting in man coverage, and so that's one thing that I like about Schottenheimer is that everybody's in motion. There's a reason that you're going in a certain direction, and you're hoping that maybe you're not going to have 3 or 4 guys in one little area and have the rest of the field wide open. So I mean, I think there was a lot of flaws, but again, he has a really good crew that he's going over to in the Chargers. Herbert's a good quarterback. They got some good receivers. It's just, there's still going to be some time where they got some growing pains really within that offense. So, You wish him the best, exactly like Brian's saying. You wish him the best. We don't wish anything ill upon him, but we move on, right? Exactly. So just like, hold on, Mike Aldana is saying the belated birthday boy, KM is yesterday's news. And it's true, and that's the only problem is that when we go off and live on the end of the week, we're talking about stuff on Monday. So we apologize, Mike, but you're right. We all need to move on. Quit complaining, but there's going to be a lot of Cowboy Nation.
This is how we rolled. We're going to cover more stuff than if we went on Monday. You know what I mean? We could talk about the Pro Bowl that we're watching. Listen, I just want people to realize that it's not always what we think or perceive. Kellen Moore, he did get too predictable, Mark Hutchin. He absolutely did. It's not any surprise that when and this is when I go back to I want another high-end receiver. I don't know that we're going to get what I want. I've been on record saying I want Stephon Diggs. You can get him. If you offer a 1 and a 3, you can get Stephon Diggs. That's who I want. But whether it's Stephon Diggs, whether it's with Hopkins in Arizona, I think that's the way we go, man. We need another guy opposite CD.
Mm-hmm.
And
I'm okay with that.
I'm excited to go young and running back. So. I'm just excited to get to this draft, Phil. We talked about it. We're going to cover the draft up, down, sideways, upside down. I'm already doing my research. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the offseason. Let's get the Super Bowl over. Twiz, whatever. It is what it is, bro. If your team wins, congrats. If not, I'm good with that too. So,
well, if you do, it's a really good team. I mean, there's
you're gonna earn it. You're gonna earn it.
Yeah, exactly. I would definitely agree on that. But as we're talking about, we're watching these Pro Bowls. You heard obviously the news that our center Biadish moved up because obviously Kelsey was playing in the Super Bowl. So what do you think about that? Do you think he kind of deserves that with the year that he had, or do you think there's still room for improvement? What's going on?
Who's that?
I'm talking about Biadish. Yeah, because he went to the Pro Bowl.
Biadish. Listen, man, I'm on record as saying he has stepped up big time. Remember, we called for before the season that he was a question mark. He was a guy that needed to get stronger another year in the NFL program, and he did it. He was not a weak spot in our offensive line. You didn't hear from him, which is a good thing when it comes to offensive linemen. I'm good with Biadish. He stepped up, and he needs to maintain his level of play of what he did this year, man. I'm happy.
I think Mark Hutchins says it perfectly here. He says we need to work on our backups on offensive line, and I think we also need to just get another starter or two, and that's why I'm okay with that early picks being offensive linemen. I just want to continue building that. I don't want to get overconfident. You saw, injuries do occur, and you just need somebody that you can be. If I can replace, for example, McGovern with something better and have McGovern as that backup, that would make me feel really good. Maybe get in that left tackle so you can leave Tyler Smith inside. There's a lot of combinations that you can do. Obviously, you got a guy named like Steele that's coming back. How is he going to come back after that injury?
He's going to get a deal.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm definitely for this. I would love to continue building this line. It's a very sexy process that happens. I remember when we had guys like Travis Frederick and Zach Martin, and then Tyron Smith and what was his name that went to Denver, Ron Leary.
Ron Leary.
Yeah. So I mean, there was a combination. Who was the right one? It wasn't Colombo. It was oh man, I'm missing the right tackle. At that time, I'm just drawing a blank, but no, I kind of want to just get back to those games. I want if
you're talking about the right tackle.
Yes.
For us?
At that time when all that those was it? Oh, was it Collins? I was thinking of somebody right before him. It's funny how I kind of skipped over Collins. I wasn't even thinking about Collins.
He wasn't nothing in since he got hurt, but.
Yeah.
I got you, man.
But I want to continue building it because obviously
with the Eagles, Phil. And you can finish your thought, but you see what you need. You need a great offensive and defensive line. You know, I'm a big Zeke guy. You know, we talked about it. I'd like to get him back. I like Pollard, but you know, I'll let you finish your thought a second. But if at 26, if Bijan Robinson is there, which I don't think he will, he's a top 5 talent.
Yeah, I don't
but
think
running
so.
backs don't seem to
I don't.
go early in the draft.
I don't see him
If
going
he's there at
past
26,
20.
or if he's there within reach at 22 or 23, you go get him. He's a generational running back. You get Bijan Robinson. His draft. I mean, his draft grades are higher than Zeke. They're higher than anybody ever in the NFL draft. That's how good this kid is. So if you were to get, that's why I would hold off on what we're going to do with our guys. You know, let's face it. Yeah, Pollard, he's coming off of major leg injury.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
gonna
he's
be
going to
big.
get offered big deals right away. I think we get to the draft, and let's see how it plays out. I just hope that we take the best player available. People go, oh my God, we're going to take a running back in the first round. It's at 26, people. It's not where Zeke was taken at number 5.
No.
It's at 26. He's going to be the highest guy on the board by a long shot.
Yeah.
And if you get him, then you let Pollard go, you let Zeke go, you bring back Malik Davis is already under contract. Draft another guy, and we're set.
Yeah.
That's what I would do, man. That's what I would do all day.
What I was talking
Finish your
about.
thought after I
No,
went on a tangent.
no, that's okay. I'm gonna have plenty of those myself. The O line, obviously you're bringing a new offensive coordinator in, whether it's Mike McCarthy or whether it's Schottenheimer, whether it's the both. You have something new that you need to start building towards. The offensive line, giving your quarterback time, getting your running back space. I think that's something we saw even when Zeke was running. We complain about how Zeke is running, but at the same time, where has the holes been for him to be hitting? When it just seems that Pollard is able to take those corners a little bit quicker. So I also gotta say the offensive line didn't always give him the best running lanes, and that's why does he become the fullback then? Fullback situations where where he's banging stuff. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot that can be.
I don't think Zeke's going to be a fullback, but what I will say is, you saw by the end of the year, Zeke is a shell of his former self.
Yeah.
That's not to say I don't want him back, because I would love to have Zeke back, but I don't know that he's going to want to take what I'm going to offer. I would cut him and then see if you can bring him back on the cheap. If he thinks he can get more, which he probably will somewhere else, that's the cap.
Oh, yeah.
More money just to burn to get to the basement or whatever they want to do.
Well, just even jersey
Please don't end
sales.
up in Philly, please, Zeke, because Philly's going to have a new backfield next year. Don't end up in Philly, man. That's all I ask.
We'll make it personal with his defense, So
Yeah.
this defense does have a different swagger. Obviously, this is the part where I'm like, do we draft? Is this going to be an offensive draft? Do we reload and try to get that offense some weapons again, or do we kind of do? I think it's a balance, right? I think if you take that strategy, the best player available. You need positions filled. Obviously, you need another tight end. If you let Schultz walk, you need some offensive line, some D line, some corner.
Schultz,
yeah, I agree.
I think we both are. We'll take the comp pick. Somebody will offer him more than we're willing to pay.
And he's going to do amazing somewhere else, too. And it's not nothing against Schultz.
He will,
because he's, yeah.
This is one of those situations where, no offense,
we
wish you well, like Kellen, but we need to move on. We got 2 guys ready to roll. We've got, Ferguson, who me and Phil were preaching about during the draft right before the pick, and Hendershot, who came out of nowhere, not to mention our third guy, who's a good blocking guy, 84. Help me out with his name.
Oh, you're talking about McEwen? No.
McEwen.
Yeah, is it McEwen? Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's McEwen. And let's draft a young guy. That's fine, man. But I will say this real quick before we get to the chat, because I see Curtis. I have to respond to Curtis and Mark Hutchin.
You said 84 originally. I thought Jay Novacek.
The West Coast offense, Phil,
Yeah.
we need to go out and get. Maybe we don't go out and get a Diggs, or we don't go out and get a Hopkins. Maybe we go out and get a top flight tight end to go along with our 2 young guys. like a Darren Waller. Maybe he's on the market. Maybe he's not. He was just signed.
There's a lot of tight ends I think in this draft that you get late, kind of like Jake Ferguson. There's a guy from South Carolina, Austin Suter or something like that. Very big. He's a receiving tight end. Doesn't do very much blocking, but a very big guy, good target for Dak. Does those routes that he does really well. So I mean, he would be that extra complimentary guy. So yeah, you're right. I mean, you add that, you keep building it. Do that 12 personal, as Mark says.
Personal? Yeah, that's my boy. You're my boy, Blue. 12 personal.
Okay, so Mike Aldenis says, I'd re-sign Schultz if he was good at blocking as he was catching passes. Yeah, I mean, he improved this year.
Yeah,
but yeah,
unfortunately, he's not. You are what you are.
Yeah, Mike's right.
Unfortunately, man.
Mark says,
Hudson, we need to work on our offensive backup. I agree. Curtis Lights, welcome to the show, man. Not excited about our new OC, but Keys will be next hire of QB and running back coaches. I need someone to teach and light a fire under QB and running back. I agree with that. I do. I think the QB, look, we lost Nussmeier, so I'll be curious to see who's going to be the QB coach. Hey, man.
Mark Sanchez.
Reach out and grab John Kitna again.
Mark Sanchez. Get him from the booth. That's my thing. Get Mark Sanchez from the booth and get him in there. No, I mean, because I just think about the time when Dak was doing really well. He's developing. You had Mark Sanchez in his ear as the backup quarterback. That's why that whole thing with Kellen Moore, I mean, it was just a guy that couldn't even beat Dak out of the position, and he was supposed to tell him what to do. There's so many things. Okay,
it was one of those.
Again, I don't want to go backwards, but
no, and you're right, Phil. He's the last remaining piece of the Jason Garrett era. We're going to a zone running scheme. You get ready, people, which is fine. When you run the West Coast offense, that's kind of what you want to do.
And that's why Robinson is a good piece for that, because he is a definite great zone runner. Yeah,
and that's why I was saying big if, because I don't know, he ain't going to be around at 26, but you know how the NFL is when it comes to first-round running backs. And when we pick at 26 or anywhere in the 20s, let's be honest here, probably normally in any given draft, there's 15, 16, 17 first-round graded guys, which means these 15, 16, 17 guys have a first-round grade. That doesn't mean that you're not going to take a guy in the first round. Remember, you get that extra year. You get the 5th year that you have.
The option,
anybody taking the first round is a 5-year contract as opposed to a 4-year thereafter. So,
Mark,
if Bijan is close, go get him. When I say close, within 2 or 3 picks away, go get him. Because then you can let Pollard go, you can let Zeke go, and you could just roll with him, Malik Davis, and grab another guy in the draft or whatever. I'm good with that.
Yeah, let's just keep adding pieces. Yeah,
and we're good.
Yeah, and so I've been saying this before. By the end of the season, when we're talking about the coaching possible changes, one thing that we did mention was that what made the defense better was the fact that Mike McCarthy was able, of course, to bring a swagger in there. But I think, knowing that what you needed to draft some more physical guys with an attitude. But then you brought Dan Quinn in. He was able to pick his coach. And I know we made this point before, but that's what I get excited about with the Schottenheimer thing, is that it's Mike McCarthy's coach. It's his choice, So what made this team better when it comes to the special teams? Because we sucked at special teams. We're doing punt blocks. We have a possible for a punt return, a kick returns. When he brought in his special team guy, a guy that I didn't like. I don't like Bones Fossil, but that dude is rocking it, man. Yeah, his draft.
Well, I liked Fossil.
Yeah.
Anytime I get a coach who's gonna, act like
you're breaking up a little bit,
all that in a bag of chips and whatever. Listen, our special teams has improved under Fossil, but what I will say is it was disappointing to me this year. It was disappointing. I'm not talking about place kicking, because Maher had a career year, set a franchise record for points scored by a kicker, then had a mental breakdown, and he's gone. Maher, and I'll be back with this team. Count it. But me and Phil were calling for Turpentine, Cavante Turpin, who made the Pro Bowl. And shout out to him. He's not a bad player, but we all got caught up in it, and he never finished. He never finished anything. You know what I mean, Phil?
Yeah,
How's my sound? Everything okay?
Try to tighten your stuff in the back of your XLR. No. It's just, I don't know. It's a crackle in there. I don't know if everybody else hears it. So maybe it could just be me, and I could shut my mouth and I can just listen. But no.
I'm too close to the mic. I'm all up on that shit. Right?
Hey, you got to do what you got to do. You can overpay for Sanders. Yeah, no, thank you. No, we're already overpaying for our own guy. You could take your own overpaid guy and then go overpay for that quarterback, So then you'll be in the same situations. And let's start talking about whether we can. And that's the thing about it. At the same time, like, nobody brings up the fact that you got an expensive quarterback on the roster. You got a line that you've paid, but everybody wants to give them crap about, oh, you haven't gone out and gotten these free agents. Yeah, And I think Brian's right in the sense that you can always make room and you can always make a splash. So there's no excuse. When you look back, Jerry Jones back in the 90s, how did they win the Super Bowl? It wasn't methodically. It wasn't putting slowly pieces together. It was, Jimmy Johnson coming in here and blowing his dynamite and rocking it and revolutionizing the draft and how it's done. That just took that to go to a Super Bowl. But yeah, he still wants to kind of just, I'm sorry when I say this, but he just wanted to kind of just dick around and just kind of. It's going to come to us. I believe in the fates, and my tarot card reader was telling me as long as I continue this path, like you can't take that approach, man. You got to be aggressive. Jerry Jones in the past will slap you in the face right now if he heard just some of the stuff that he was saying. I mean, it's one of those things when you're older, you tend to look back at yourself and go, man, what was I thinking then? But I think the younger guy would be looking at him going, what is he being saved for?
Hey, Mark, is this any better, big guy, if I don't, I'm not all up on the mic or what?
No, I think there might be a connection thing. Just do the unconnecting and reconnecting of something. Like, there's just a crackle. There's like, maybe we can just put the one on your headphone. Put the one on your headphone back on. Maybe mute the other one.
Hello, is this better?
No, there's a little crackle.
Hold on.
Oh, man, Mark is smoking chicken and salmon. That son of a gun. But anyways, so I'm excited about these next couple of moves. I've been excited about the offseason in general for the past couple of years. Obviously we had the COVID year. The draft happened. We got CeeDee Lamb, surprises that have happened. People kind of falling into their lap, whether, Dak sometimes isn't the answer.
Hopefully that's better.
That does sound a little bit better. Go ahead, continue talking. Yeah, there's some theory here and there.
People, I don't know what's going on.
He'll get
extensions on top of extensions here. Hopefully it's good.
His audio setup gets very nervous around my audio setup. That's why. What? No, man, you remember how it was. Growing pain.
Marcus, they had no issues. So
yeah, that's how AV works. The world of AV works is you could set it for one, test it all. The next morning, it's not the same, man. That's how it goes. But yes,
Jimmy. Gina says Jimmy is so awesome. Who we talking about?
Yeah, no, you're talking about Jimmy Johnson. I mean, he should be in the hall, the Ring of Honor, right? It's just something that should happen. So it's just, it is an insult. So some of that stuff, I mean, Bryan and Mark has talked about.
Is that better, baby? Is that good? Is that good? Check. So I turned it way up. So this XLR, sometimes you got to have it up high.
Continue.
Alrighty then. But anyway, go ahead, man. Finish your thought.
No, I don't know. I was going on a ramble. But one thing that RD is saying is that predictability. I think that's what Kellen Moore's whole thing was. You were able to predict what they were going to go to. What were their fallbacks? When push came to shove, what did they go and do? And that's what you're going to do. And they would cut those routes because it was very easy to predict what they were going to do. And we all got frustrated with those sweeps and because they weren't set up really well. And so he wasn't using the strengths of the players, and that's the reason why Cooper was out the door, was because you weren't using him to his strengths. And
well, he's out the door because Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones had a bug up their ass, and he didn't want to get the COVID shot. Let's just be honest.
Sure.
I wish we had our boy Amari Cooper. I think we had Amari. I think that would have been a big difference in that playoff game. Just me.
Yes. No, it's true. It's true.
Down.
I mean,
you got CD getting covered.
Yeah, you needed somebody to kind of help CD it. I mean, your one weapon. What do you think about the would you bring back Hilton? Would you bring back T.Y. Hilton?
That's fine. We can bring back T.Y., but it wouldn't be. It's not exciting. We've already seen it.
No, I'm not telling you that'd be the move of the end all moves, but it's nice to have that. Would you bring back him instead of Noah Brown?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's a yes.
Yeah. So I mean, if you can knock somebody off the roster like that and replace him with somebody that's a veteran. Yeah, he's only here for maybe a year or so, but again, this is the point where we need to start looking for that next person in general. What's going to happen with Simi Fehoko? Is he even going to, is he going to be like Jabril Cox and just, we want to see what he can do?
Well, that's what I was telling Mark yesterday, Phil. I was like, we need to decide what's going on with Simi Fehoko, Jabril Cox, Bossman Fat. I don't mind Bossman coming back one more year because he was literally our best special teams guy. We didn't draft him for that, but that's what he is. So bring him back. You're not going to cut him, but we're going to get rid of. I don't think Anthony Brown's probably if he wants to come back on the cheap, but he's a free agent. I don't know that he'll want to do that. I would cut ties with. The other guy out of Michigan. Help me out with
Jordan Lewis?
The cornerback.
Yeah, Jordan Lewis?
Yes, Jordan Lewis. I think you could save like $5.5 million a year off the salary cap with him. There's a lot of. I just want to go young, and I want to go out and get another number one receiver or tight end.
I like
one
that.
I'll be happy with.
Give me both.
Yes. You say both, but I'll take one because I want to keep.
I'd be okay with that. Hello, Cowboy.
Defense.
I think you could get him for a lower amount. I mean, I'm not sure what Arizona's going to do. He's talking about why not try and get Hopkins alongside Lamb, and that's not a bad. I mean, people talk about the age. I would definitely be okay with that. You have a receiver.
It would cost us our second round pick. Not that we're the gangbusters with our seconds anyway, right, Phil?
No, exactly. Well, I mean, if you can get 2 or 3 good years out of him, I think, it'd definitely be worth it. So, I mean, I would definitely be all about that. You need another guy that can complement that when, there are. I think we saw in the playoffs that, again, we're bringing the same thing up, but it's true, is, once CeeDee Lamb was covered, they were double covering him. That just wasn't happening, man. There was nobody else. And so with DeAndre Hopkins, I think he's proven time and time again. Obviously, is he the same kind of guy? But, they throw it down the field, and most of the time he was getting the ball and bringing it down. You need a guy like that. And we just haven't had that in a while.
Welcome to the show, Will.
Like Dez was the last one that I really felt that when he threw it up, he was going to be coming down with it. And I think the only guy that
Liz asked a question.
What's that?
Quick, Phil. He says, "Can Dak read defenses?" Not trying to be an ass. Honest question. Well, remember, Twiz, we were kind of critical on him as far as zone defenses.
Yeah,
that's when
he loses somebody.
Normally have issue, but he did score 40 points against the Eagles in a zone defense.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those deals, Twiz, where
he's not being set up.
If our offensive line isn't doing their job, he ain't looking good. You know what I mean? I'm sorry, but he's one of the, like most quarterbacks, let's be honest, like most quarterbacks, if you don't have 3.5, 4 seconds to monitor the field, you're not going to look as up to your potential. I just feel like that's the issue. He did put up 40 points against the Eagles, who were playing in his zone. The last game we played against them with their backup quarterback, I'll give you that. And he was one of the better quarterbacks in the year, this whole year against the zone.
Yeah.
So I thought he had a hard time reading defenses. He shut me up. So.
Yeah, I think I'm the same way. Like, I mean, at some point he just loses somebody within the defense. Whether and they're not even tricking him. It's not something that like, oh, the linebacker was down and then he just starts sprinting to the middle of the field to do a three wide cover. It's nothing like that. It's just the dude is standing there. He kind of went out a little bit and Dak threw it straight to him because and so I think with those slants, those things where people aren't settling. Oh, well, you have a chance to settle or you have a chance to run. No, man, just run, man. What are you talking about? Chance. Run. Like, I just run and I'll throw it to you. Run to the car, turn around, and I'll throw it to you. Like, I don't want somebody and that's, I think we were very critical in the sense when we were talking about all those breaks within those offense would happen at the exact same time. How are your reads should be where the breaks are happening. Boom, this one's breaking. Boom, I'm reading that one's breaking. Boom, it's going in a timely manner. It's just, and then again, the linebackers weren't being manipulated. So I don't know, do you put that on Dak? Do you put it on Kellen? Everybody has to be in a certain position. So I think that's what you've seen. I think Okoye really broke it down really well. When all of a sudden they're going to, they're running one way, they will move that linebacker by shifting some of the coverage, and I think that's what I love about it. It's the experience that in these games where we need to drive down, we need to counter what the defense is doing. We actually have a guy that can think, 5 years ago when I played so and so. No, man, Kellen Moore is like, I remember when I was playing on my Madden game, and that's what his thing. So.
Well, Dano says the 40 points was great against the Eagles, but we got 4 turnovers. Yeah, I agree, and we didn't maximize every. And I'm hearing some crackles too. So I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you're crackling like crazy. He's eating his cereal. Snap, crackle, pot. It's bad right now.
40 points. Okay, Andy QB under pressure makes mistakes that happen. I agree. And I'm not trying to be negative. But if you rewind just 1 year, all the BS that was talked about Jalen Hurts in the playoff game against,
you're really bad. You're really bad. That's really bad. Now? Yeah, it's like bad. I don't know about you guys. Can you? Yeah, bro, you're crackling super bad. It's.
Now, good?
No, I can't. That's reboot. You might have to reboot. It might be an internet thing. I don't know. That's kind of a thing. Okay, hey, well, we're gonna switch that out. Let me see if I can kind of minimize this a little bit. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be in one little window. Let's see, zoom overlay. Here we go. Nope, that's not it. All right, guys. Sorry about that. I think I'm just gonna leave it like that and kind of sit in this little window here and be GameTime Bryan for a little bit until GameTime Bryan comes back. But anyways, what do you guys think about the wide receiver? Would you draft 2 or 3 guys? Would you go and, like Brian's saying, draft that one guy, by giving your pick away for a guy that's already been proven? Mark broken media. Yeah, we got to keep the tradition, man. We can't just let that slide. I think that's funny. Hold on, let me see if I can minimize a little bit here. And I'll put myself right over here. What? Oh, it's like I'm supposed to be here. But anyways, what would you guys do? Would you guys focus on the draft? I think Glimmerman points it out. You don't want to trade too many of those draft picks away. You want, you want McClay to have his arsenal. I mean, he's been really good about. Oh, well, here we go. Let's see. He's coming back in. See what happens here. But he's been really good about drafting. I mean, I'm going to switch over here. Nope.
I don't know. I do anything. Hopefully it sounds better.
I think it's more maybe your internet. I don't know.
I don't know. Is it any better?
If we can get Diggs, that would be a huge. Yeah, I mean that's true. Exactly. If you're trading, I don't mind trading that person for trading that one for something. If you're getting somebody that's proven and it's a need. I mean, obviously the wide receiver, corner to go on the other side of Diggs, that would be another one that I'd be okay with. If you were to pick a corner out of the league, who would you go for? If you could, just trade off your first or your second, So I mean, there's definitely guys I'd be okay with that. I definitely would be okay with that.
I agree with you. How do I sound? Any better?
It's a little bit better than what you were earlier, but
I don't understand. That's crazy, man. Anyway,
Same mic still breaking up. Yeah, it's yeah. Try. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Where's your microphone for your ear set? Remember, you had the little thing that would stick out your headphones.
That's the old system.
Oh, yeah, I thought it just stuck in your headset. You would just take a microphone, you would stick it in your headset. Remember?
Yeah.
You remember? It wasn't that long ago, Brian. No, I'm just gonna tell you, you could end up switching the mic. Is that way? No, maybe. He's like, I gotta walk all the way over there. I feel like Charlie Brown. Angelica, I love it. It feels like Charlie Brown. Oh, that's hilarious. I love it. Unplug all, and plug it back in again. It might be ground. Mark says. Yeah, Mark's like, hey man, he's just telling you what he does, okay? But no, like, and you know, as we jump it back and forth between making fun of Bryan and and this stuff. No, I mean, that's what I want to do. I want to rebuild. What do you think about LVE? It's another guy that maybe that could demand for a bigger contract. I don't think it's going to be extremely expensive, but LVE would be a guy that I would love to bring back on a multi-year deal. He's been great under Dan Quinn. He's, what happened when he was out? This defense did suffer, but it's because there was a lot of coverage guys missing. It's something easy. It probably is. That's exactly what it is. It's always a simple little thing. Oh, this, something was touching over here. That's funny. Brooklyn Joe. His new setup's been low on my end, choppy today. Not ready for prime time. That's how I was in the beginning. If you ever look back at any of those videos that I was doing in the beginning, there was a lot of audio issues. I think I look back and I kind of I get embarrassed. My face gets a little bit red just because I'm like, oh, yep, it's online. It's for the whole world to see, But no, it's the growing pains, and we'll be able to laugh back at this. But again, LVE. We're talking about the defense. We're talking about Hankins, possibly bringing him back for a 1-year deal, drafting defensive interior line. Yeah,
let's go through the list. You guys got me.
It sounds okay. We can understand what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Hey, Mark, if it's the same as I did yesterday, so I don't know what's going on, man. Tony Pollard, are we bringing him back or are we not bringing him back?
If it was up to me, if Zeke takes the friendly deal, I don't mind spending Zeke's a little bit of money towards Tony. I loved his ability and adding another running back. So yeah, I would bring him back.
Yeah, it's one of those deals where you're probably gonna have to pay him $12 million a year, like Mark said. We'll probably have to pay him.
I'd rather pay him than Schultz, because Schultz had that $12 million a year, and
I mean, okay, so let's fast forward. You draft Tony, you sign Tony Pollard for $12 million, and then Bijan Robinson is sitting there at 26. Now you're like, oh my god.
Well, I mean, by that point, what ends up happening is that you can start talking about trading him if you're able to pick up a running back like that. But if you're looking at this offense, wouldn't you think Robinson would be more of the Zeke replacement? If you think about it like that, whether you're saving any kind of money or you're I think Tony is the kind of the X factor a little
Mark,
bit.
It ain't me, buddy. It's the same.
You sounds good. No, you're sounding great now.
For 3 hours yesterday.
You're cleared up now. I think it might have just been your internet been cracked, being a little bit of.
I don't know, man. Leighton Vander Esch. I feel like we need to bring him back.
I want to bring him back as well, because until you know what you have with the Jabril Cox, another cover guy, you need to keep that guy. It's the same thing that was happening with Sean Lee every year. Sean Lee was such an impact that he made that you knew that he was going to be out with an injury, but he was worth it. He was, when he was out of it, it's funny to say LVE and Sean Lee, that same thing, but when Sean Lee was gone, he was missed, and that's what happened at the end of this year. Is we missed him.
Yeah, well, Terrence Steele is.
Dude, you're crystal clear now, dude. It's straight up. Straight up. That's funny. That's.
Your mic is on now. bro. Okay, hey, it was on before. I don't know what's going on. It's that
No,
South
meaning he's
Florida
like it's
internet.
on. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Donovan Wilson needs to be back on this team, man. I'm worried about Donovan Wilson.
Yeah,
We
it's
could
understandable.
we could debate Connor McGovern, but if we don't bring Connor back, who's gonna play left guard?
Here's the thing about Donovan Wilson. I'm going to jump on Donovan Wilson's thing. I am a big Dono fan. I want him to be here. I
Me
want
too.
him to lead it and stuff. But this guy had an injury thing. His whole thing prior to the year was never his playmaking ability. It was more of his staying healthy and stuff. So if he comes back at the right price, heck, yes. But I look at it also as the fact that it's like when you look at these when you look at these safeties, Hooker was coming down. He was doing a great job. Kirsch was doing his thing. Donna was doing his thing. You had some guys also back there. So I felt more that, is it the scheme that's causing these guys to kind of ball out, and you're trusting and you're throwing their abilities out there? So can you walk away from a Wilson and not be as affected? I think, I kind of balance that. I juggle that a little bit. What do you think about that?
I agree with everything you said, and if we lose him for somebody that's going to overpay him, fine. But I just think he had such a good year, and he locked
did.
down that, the box area, your safety. Um, I really like him. He's one of the guys I'd really like to have back. He's one of our own. We drafted him. You know how we treat people that we draft. We normally re-sign them. He's the guy that I definitely like to have. Him and Leighton Vander Esch. More so than Pollard and other guys. McGovern, I don't know who we would have at left guard if we don't bring back McGovern. I'll be surprised if we don't. You can draft. It's a question mark there. Anthony Brown, I'm ready to let him go, people. I don't know what you guys think.
Yeah.
I'm ready to let Anthony go.
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, if you're going to pay somebody, I think I want somebody a little bit more, again, more established. Is that where would you give up that running back position and draft to be able to sign that number 2 corner or that number 2 wide receiver?
That's the thing. I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
No? Yeah,
I
exactly.
would bring back. I would let Anthony Brown go. I thought we were fine in our secondary when he got hurt.
That's true.
We missed him at times, but you saw what happened to Deron Bland. He stepped up.
Oh, he stepped up, yeah.
We're going to draft at least one corner, probably 2. So, I think we let him go, man. Honestly, it's time to move on. It really is. It's time to move on to the young guys. And if we can get a number 1 receiver / tight end, whoever that is, you're not going to get them both.
Let me ask you a question here. See, I am big, and I've advocated for this. I don't want somebody early, obviously, but I want another quarterback. I want somebody, because one thing I look back at McCarthy's era in Green Bay, and I think back to the fact that they drafted quarterbacks and kind of just farmed them, just, like a farmer quarterbacks. And they traded, kind of like Belichick, where he'd get Garoppolo, these guys, and then give them value in the preseason, and then boom, you send them off. And I would love them to bring that strategy, because if you can find some quarterbacks in the draft and you're able to develop them under, hopefully a good offense, and we don't know who the quarterback coach is going to be yet, but I don't think there's just going to be some bum off the streets. I think we're past that whole what we used to do in the sense of those coaches. I know we still do that in the free agent market, but I think with the coaching, it's kind of changing. So I love the culture that it's being built there.
I was surprised to hear our coaches say how much they think that Tyron Smith and Jason Peters that they want back. I'm sorry. I think it's time to move on from the 41-year-old and Tyron Smith.
I don't mind if they're
bluff.
Yeah,
the big bluff is he's going to retire if you trade him. Okay, then you're going to have to retire, because I think we need to move on. I would try and trade him to some team for 3rd or 4th round pick. Yeah,
like a Jacksonville or
guys. So that's
a
what
Miami.
I'm trying to do.
Yeah, there's some teams out there that are suffering, and I think obviously he doesn't know anything more than what the Cowboys are. So if he was to get welcomed into that new city, yeah, I mean he could definitely change his whole tone. Okay, it's not as much pressure, and I'm not being blown up in the media. That's with Kellen Moore. Unfortunately, that's the truth. And when Kellen Moore goes to the Chargers, it's all now the other side of the the grass is always greener kind of thing. But in this case, it will, because he's not going to be ridiculed. How many times were the Chargers doing their thing this year, and you were just like, man, that offensive coordinator stinks? No, man, you were blaming it on Herbert. You were blaming it on because you saw the throws. But that was a lot of scheming. So
next name on my list is Jonathan Hankins. What do you think about him? I try and get him back.
I would bring him back as well. Yeah, I would definitely bring him back.
What's up, Eastside Harold? Welcome to the show. Yeah, congrats on D'Amico.
Yeah, man, that's actually great.
Next guy on my list
is great
is Dalton Schultz. I think we're all in agreement, or at least me and you, that he can go and test free agency. It was good. Thank you for your services, big man. Maybe you'll learn how to get 2 feet in bounds when there's nobody on you heading to the sideline.
Yeah.
Noah Brown. Ready to move on from Noah? Go ahead, man. Sound effect. Let's hear it.
No, move on from Noah? Yeah, I am definitely all that for that as well, too. I mean, we need to... what you have with Noah Brown. I don't want to say anything negative.
Yeah, he was all well and good on a rookie or as a free agent deal, or a walk-on type of deal. That's great. Now we got to pay you any amount of money. No, thank you. Anthony Barr, thank you for your services. I'm glad we didn't pay you what Mark thought we were going to pay you, which is $10 million a year.
Brooklyn joke, correct?
I remember him saying that. I'm like, absolutely not. I think we paid him 4 or 5.
Liberman is correct.
Barr, thank you.
As he's talking about that, he says, yes, Hankins, but these are backups. And I agree. The McGoverns, the Hankins, those guys, they should be our backups.
Yeah.
We're getting them so...
Remember,
because
man.
Yeah.
Just remember, man, our 2 defensive tackles that we thought were going to have a great year ended up not and being inactive for multiple weeks, which would be... Quentin Bohannon, he had a disappointing year again. He had some moments, but a guy in his second year, you want more than moments. Mm-hmm. And the other guy who was deactivated more than once,
Gallimore,
Neville Gallimore, very disappointing. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes.
He's gonna be a Raider.
But Jonathan Hankins, we need to bring him back. We invested a 6th-round draft pick on him. We might as well bring him back. So I'm all on board of bringing Hankins back on a.
And I'm all for
3-year deal.
Drafting somebody early. I mean, you got some guys from LSU. You got a Texas guy. You got some guys, some defensive interior guys that could definitely plug into this defensive line and keep building. Again, offense, defensive line. I think we have a lot of people in the chat that definitely believe in it. They know how you win games is by keeping Dak up and opening up those holes and then getting to the quarterback and plugging those holes. I mean, that's what they. If you look back at any of these times where they've been contenders, they've been in the Super Bowl, you can always look back and remember those big defensive linemen, those big offensive line, Larry Allen doing his thing, Eric Williams being all nasty. You look on the other side, you had guys on the defensive line that were kind of sometimes at no names, but they were still doing their thing. I mean, Leon Lett was no name, but I mean, he did his thing for many, many years. Everybody just remembers him for the goofball plays that he had. But I think of guys like Leroy Glover that we wasted, and you just don't want to see that. You don't want to see a defensive guy get in here and then you're wasting his whole career because you can't put the pieces around him. And so that's what I like seeing with Will McClay and what he's doing is that you're not interrupting the process. You're allowing the same guy to make these calls, and he should just be the general manager. He may not be making those decisions, but we should be giving him the title at least, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Next guy on my list is T.Y. Hilton.
I'd bring him back. I would definitely bring him back.
I don't mind offering him something.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. That's fine. Especially if Noah's not here. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I would definitely like to. I would do Hilton over Noah Brown, but you're still allowing people to open up some room for the new guys that are going to come in.
You need to do that.
No.
Got C.J. Goodwin, who's our special teams ace. C.J. Man, had an average year at best. I think it's time to move on from C.J. We'll let Bossman slide into that spot this year. Luke Gifford, who's another backup linebacker who's a really good special teams ace. Try to bring him back. Yeah, I don't think he's going to have a big market, Phil. Both long snappers. Both long snappers, free agents. I don't care. Could care less. Pick one.
Angelica.
Brian, we are back walking with the frequency.
Yeah, I was like looking around. I was like, y'all here, right? It's coming and sneaking in.
It ain't me.
Yeah, I think it's your internet. Tell whoever else is in the internet in the house. Get off the internet. They're broadcasting here, people. Don't need. Oh my God.
Joe, what up, Rico?
Oh my God, that is the truth, man. Man, I remember being excited about that, Brooklyn. I remember being very excited about Rico Gathers, and then as each year went on, I just like, oh my God, yeah, Rico Gathers, yeah, that guy's still on this roster. so and not every basketball player is going to be a good tight end. So, I know what you're wishing for. I mean, there was a couple of them there. Antonio Gates, right? Anthony Gonzalez. So I mean, but then we have another one as well. We had Rico Gathers. I swear there was another guy as well that was a big tight end that we tried doing that as well.
Yeah, we tried a lot of stuff.
I even remember wasted ones like Martellus Bennett. You remember him? The immaturity.
Yeah, I remember him at Mississippi State. Yeah.
So yeah, and then you're talking about Mississippi State, and then you got some guys that are coming out of this draft that are from Mississippi State that look like pretty good potentials, and of course the draft. That was, of course, we were talking about. So start talking again. I think are you doing better?
I don't know, man.
It's hit and miss.
I don't know. It's not me, man. I'm telling you, I got nothing going on here. It's all Phil. Blame Phil.
Sure.
Carlos Watkins. He's a free agent. We let Ridgeway go because of this clown.
Yeah.
So. Now we lost Ridgeway for a guy who's a free agent. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't. I wouldn't bring him back. I don't know about you. I want somebody else. I want somebody to get excited. I want a potential. You know what you have with the Watkins. I'm not saying it's a good backup. Oh, we're 3-4 games into the season, something happens. Oh, let's bring him because we know what we're getting. But the problem is that the floor and the ceiling is just not the same. Like where his ceiling could be another young potential guy's floor, and he has the sky's the limit, or so that's why I wouldn't bring him back. I guess the hope of potential, right?
Dante Fowler, I don't know that he's coming back. He may come back on cheap as an extra.
I would be him back, as a third or fourth stringer.
Seems to be gone. We've already discussed that. They're moving on from Brett. It's a shame.
True, Mike.
Brett was really good. He had a great year, but obviously he had a mental breakdown. Rico Dowdle, backup running back.
Yeah, I got excited about Rico because I really do. I like his running style, but he just can't stay healthy. I think that's your availability is what you're being. When you talk about these running backs, we know that you can get a guy in the 6th or 7th round that could all of a sudden be explosive, and and you can figure out something for him. So wasting the opportunity. What's the difference between this guy and that guy? Well, can this guy stay healthy and be available for me? Tony Pollard getting hurt, that's a whole different story. It's it just feels more like Rico doesn't have the durability to stay healthy. So I wouldn't bring him back.
Last two on my list. Phil is Cooper Rush. I think it's time to say bye to Cooper. I mean, we got Will Greer already on as the backup. I think it's clear that and I hear myself, Phil, so something's going on with the internet.
I think it's the internet. I really think it's your internet when it slows down a little bit there.
It has nothing to do with the cords. I get some feedback of me staticky.
So before the broadcast, maybe you'll need to restart.
South Florida or if it's South Jersey. I don't know. But
Somewhere in between.
yeah, Cooper Rush, I think he's going to be gone. And the last guy on the list is Trayvon Mullins.
Trayvon Mullins, he's saying.
He's a free agent.
Free agent.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia.
So.
Bye, Felicia.
So.
Oh no, I'm definitely I love the young guys that they've been bringing in. I mean, and it's not just been the first 2 rounds. Oh, I love Diggs, and that's it. Oh, I love Jake Ferguson. You know, I like the deeper ones. Ridgeway, we're that sucks. We lost our 5th round draft pick early, and we don't know now he's playing for somebody else. And because you left in a guy like Carlos Watkins, that you knew what you had with him. You could have let him go, and probably he wouldn't have would have been picked up, and you could have brought done that whole thing. But Ridgeway, again, it's a draft. It's McClay doing his thing, and you're getting invested in these guys, and you're seeing Mukwamu. That was another one that we were very like, okay, what the heck is going on here? But he stepped up.
Dude, that was the missing link in the playoffs, man. He came out of nowhere. So it's good. I think it's got a good future with us.
So you see the eye of talent. You see the combination between the defensive coordinator, the special teams guy. Hey, let's go over here and get this guy from the USFL, and I like that the collaboration. What makes your offense? What makes your defense better? And now when you bring a guy like Schottenheimer, you can I don't know. It's like when you Kellen Moore, it felt like you were more asking your kid like what kind of candy they want. What kind of candy you want? You're like, I don't know. And that's you want your offensive coordinator to be able to give me that guy. I want that guy because he does this and that. No, man, like yeah, it's just like that's how I felt it.
Twizzlers type of guy.
Yeah, you got to give him. He's like, I don't know. You're like, it's just that's how Kellen Moore felt like. How are you going to use them? I don't know. And so now you got a guy that says like, look, man, I like my meat and potatoes, and I don't want you to give me my salad until 10 minutes before. Like oh, this starts happening. Oh, they drop your plate of desserts. Oh, well, give me this instead. Like he's been in the situation before, and so he knows what he needs. He knows what makes his offense run. Kellen Moore's still trying. I don't even know what play they call on 3rd down. It's just there's. Again, I'm not trying to bash, but I felt that.
Kellen. I know Angelica is happy. I know Mark Hudson's happy. I believe Glimmerman's probably happy that he's gone. We'll see, man. At the end of the day, we're getting past this season. We're moving on to bigger and better things, hopefully. It's exciting when you get new guys in town. I'm excited for Sam Williams next year. I really am. Sam Williams was just scratching the surface this year, and he had some really big moments. So I think that he's just gonna develop, and he's gonna have a big year next year. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for these young guys, Phil. I don't want to bring too many of these guys back. I want to go young, but I do want to make a move in free agency. I'd rather trade for a guy who's not a free agent, because you know how that works.
Oh yeah.
If
they had to pay part of it.
A free agent, then we lose compensation if we lose a free agent. You know what I mean? So I'd rather actually make a trade. But we got Catboy. We'll see what happens. So.
Yeah. We already get to hear the broken record of excuses from the previous year. Well, we're trying to make sure that everything gets a piece of the pie, and like no, nobody wants to hear that. So you heard about the extension as well of possible Dak Prescott. Maybe free up some money and that kind of.
We're already working that one, Phil.
Yeah, so there's a lot of moves. It's definitely going to be, I feel like it's going to be a good offseason. It's going to be crazy, and that's what you're hoping for. You want a little shake-up, and starting with the coaching staff right off the bat, it's just the fact that you weren't getting on interviews that was like, okay, what's your plan here? But look, when the plan unfolds, we see how it goes. Now it's more like, okay, who do we want to bring in as the quarterback coach? Okay, who do we want to bring in as So the running back coach. So I mean, now you can start doing those interviews. I just feel like you may have missed out on somebody. I mean, who do you elevate from what position to go to your running back coach, or who are you bringing somebody from college? So they're
I think they're going to get somebody outside. There's nobody really left inside the building to be the running backs coach. I think they're going to be a zone blocking guy. I really do. So maybe they'll bring back what's his face who was in Washington. I doubt they'll bring back. What was his name? Used to be the old head coach of the Arizona Cardinals.
Kingsbury? Oh no. Hold on.
Going back, older guy. Anyway, yeah.
Now there's a couple of guys the Chicago Bears
yeah.
coach as well. I can't.
Yeah. Well, the one guy we had went to Washington, and he's a great he was a great O-line coach. But we got an O-line coach. We got what's his name? I'm thinking of Joe Bugle. I
Okay.
think he passed away. He might have died. We'd have to dig him up in order to use him. So, yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. But, my names are bad, but we got an O-line coach. He's 68. What's your opinion on that guy? He coached under Landry.
Is he, does he understand the game now? A lot of times when they used to coach, it's kind of like that whole playing, if you've been out of it for a couple of years, are you really in tune to what's going on? Do you watch it all the time? So I'm interested to know that part of it. I think this team has kind of gone through a tragedy before with losing somebody, so you kind of fear that part of it, the emotional part. So I know it's a bad subject to talk about in that sense, but it's true. I mean, it's a realistic situation that could have happened. That could, this team has already been through something like that already, and you could be setting them up for something else. So. That part does come into for a moment, but you obviously don't want to exclude anything, especially if you're going to make this team better. So I'm interested to see, is he bringing his old philosophy? If he's bringing in a new one, has he been out of the game kind of like Dan Quinn, where I kind of had to think about what I was doing and change some stuff? Or is he going to come in here the same thing with the same kind of loud mouth type of situation?
Yeah. Hey, I just got an update. I don't know about you NBA fans, but Kyrie Irving was just traded to the Dallas Mavericks.
Ooh, wow, I was not expecting that.
Blockbuster deal.
Oh.
The Nets are sending Irving to the Mavericks in exchange for Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, a 2029 first-round pick, and multiple second-round picks according to multiple sources. Kyrie Irving is gone. Go ahead, hit your drop. Bye, Felicia. Yeah, so
I need to get
Brooklyn
that one.
Joe, he gone. He's with Dallas Mavericks. So he didn't get to go to the Lakers. Sorry, bro.
Yeah, I was. There's a little part of me. I'm a Lakers as well, so it's like I get it. It's always been in the area because whenever I was up in another area, it's like they had Seattle, the Supersonics. And so I hated Portland. I hated Portland. So I became more towards the Lakers.
Mike Aldana, it's GameTime Bryan, man. I cover it all. We do Cowboys here, but if it's something big, we're gonna break it.
Yeah, so, we'll talk about it. Anything? Okay, so we kind of been rambling on about the whole subject about the Dallas Cowboys. There's probably some stuff in there that we definitely missed, but this is what the offseason is about. Is to start talking about this stuff.
We're gonna have plenty of time to talk about the Cowboys, Phil. Yep. We're going to get into the Super Bowl. Are we going to go on Friday or Saturday, or we'll let everybody know?
Yeah.
One of those days.
Yeah, one of them.
And
Maybe possibly
Super
Friday.
Bowl Twiz. We'll break your squad down, left, right, up, down, sideways, whatever, upside down. We'll break it down. We'll make our picks for the Super Bowl. It's not the Cowboys, so that's sad, but...
I think he'll be great in the off. Right? I think he'll be great in the West Coast.
We got to realize that we weren't good enough to make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
For whatever reason.
Well, I mean, it could have, would have, should have. There's plenty of those throughout the whole season. Whether you talk about the guys that we're talking about, Noah Brown possibly moving on, Brett Maher, just different outcomes. If you had Amari Cooper, there's a lot of what ifs. I mean, if you think about it, but the true outcome is
for candy and nuts. Right?
The truth is, when we started the season, of course. I knew it was a playoff team. Where we're going to Super Bowl, I don't think so. I don't think they'll be that. But they proved me in the sense of being able to at least get to that next game. It's just they didn't just settle in the one. We're happy to be and get eliminated again by Tampa Bay. We were able to handle that. It was a very close game, a lot better than the year before against San Francisco. So this team is definitely developing, getting better. The record, if you can get another 12 or 13 win season next year, you would be happy at this moment knowing that. And there's obviously once you go into the season, people complain and bitch and moan about different things, but Kellen Moore and Dak Prescott were pushing a great offense. So you're wondering, will it take a step back? Will it take a step forward? Will the offense, in general, will the roster take a step forward, or will it take a step back? There's a lot of that whole situation. Even the coaching staff, with it changing, will that take a step forward or take a step back? So we'll talk about all this stuff. We'll talk about, of course, Super Bowl will probably be on Friday if I were to guess right now. But we'll see, right?
Friday or Saturday night, people. We will be breaking it all down.
And it'll give Bryan plenty of time to figure that shit out.
It ain't me, man. It ain't me.
You might have to do like me. I have to restart my internet prior, 30 minutes to 40 minutes prior, so I can.
Well, but me and you talked for how long? A half hour?
Yeah, sure. That is true.
Good.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened, man. I can't help it. I got my wife on her Alienware laptop playing her video game, so that could probably be it.
That's the truth, Angelica.
I probably got 2 kids upstairs streaming. One has a YouTube channel that he's, streaming video games on. So, who knows? I don't know. I'm sorry, people. We'll figure it out. I'll go back to my corner hole and we'll go back to too late now, Tina. We're logging off. So.
I'll log off on the thing. Yeah. But anyways, one thing, we're just happy to talk Cowboys football, talk football in general. By the time this end of the season happens, the XFL, the USFL, there is going to be some small stuff. I just didn't get excited about it last year, so I hope to get more into it. Obviously, we'll be talking about draft.
Yeah, we're going to break it down.
There's a lot to talk about. I mean, the offseason can get kind of wiry in the sense that.
Color-coded shit here. Look at that.
Oh, he's moving up in the world,
man.
People. He went and bought highlighters.
I'm ready to roll.
All right.
About the players for about 2 minutes on the Senior Bowl. All that color-coded shit, I didn't even get into it.
Well, we'll talk about some of that stuff, obviously. But anyways, anything you want to say before we're gonna break out of here?
We're good, man.
Okay.
I just want to thank Phil for coming home for a couple hours this weekend so we can get the show off.
Yeah,
I
it's a busy weekend.
And thank you, everybody who came in.
Clever man, one more time. Your mic is sounding broken. Yeah. It's like, no, but I appreciate everybody that came through, rewatching. And, yeah, of course. Hey, man. But one thing I appreciate everybody sharing and liking. We're getting there. We're getting to the 1,000, and I think we can definitely do it into next year. And so and just grow this channel. I love growing with you guys. I love talking Cowboys football. I love talking football in general and predicting things. I think I told you so's kind of pop up, but one thing I love and I wish that everybody could kind of just know that, hey, man, I'm just happy that in our first year, Bryan and I were able to connect on this. I mean, before I did this thing on my own with the video. So, Bryan, thank you for always coming on the channel as well, too, man. I'm going to say that. So, again, guys, share it if you can. Hit the like button on the way out. But don't forget to always what? Ring that bell.
Ring that bell.
Hey! We know each other. He's a friend from work.
What you do, you're like a little screw loose type of guy, and I thought that's how I am. So I'm digging it, big guy. I am.
Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
Just answer the damn questions. Who are you?
GameTime Bryan, otherwise known as the mailman here.
Cool name. Superpowers?
Broadcasting from the illustrious Jobu Studio.
Come on, are you going to tell me who that is?
Primetime Phil. And, of course, my co-host, GameTime Bryan.
Oh, Jesus Christ, this place is going to explode. $100,000, I don't even need to hear it.